Hello, whoever's there. Hello, Chrissy. Hi, Fatima. Hi, Laura. When you get in there, hi, Laura. How are you? If anyone is able to show me your face. Yes, are you, Chrissy? Oh, I'm so excited. Hi, Fatima. Yeah, don't worry if you can't show your face, but I do prefer it because I don't know what it is. But this is a MacBook Pro that I've got, but for some reason the camera makes it look like it's 1995. And I'm all like pixelated. I was just trying to shine a light on it, then thinking, is that going to make it any better, any clearer? But no, it hasn't. Good, close it all then. Right, so I'll hang on a few minutes because it's not quite half past. Chrissy, on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for Madrid?
Eh, 11. I've started packing now, so I'm excited.
So when do you fly?
I think it's 9:30 on Thursday morning from Birmingham.
Ah,
So
that's
I'm
good.
literally leaving here at 3:30 in the morning to drive to Dawn's. So then we'll leave hers at like 6:30. So
God. Oh, it'll be worth it though.
oh,
Be
it will be.
absolutely worth
I was
it.
gonna go up tomorrow, but she hasn't got a spare bed. And I thought I'd rather just sleep in my own bed, wake
Yeah.
up, have a shower, get ready, and just go. So
Oh, honestly,
yeah.
I'm so excited. I've got
I'm
my
gutted.
diary. Go
I'm
on.
gutted you're not going.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about it.
But you can live through all our stories and like
Yeah,
everything, honestly.
I am making the fact that I'm unable to attend a whole thing because
Bless
it's
you.
so frustrating, honestly. It's like it reminds me of when I think I was about 18, 19, and the last train had gone and all my friends were going on a night out and I couldn't go. And I remember being at home and having to watch Saturday night TV. And you know, when like you
Bless
proper
you.
Kevin and Perry, like, oh, it's not fair, it's not fair. I was like that, but I was like, right, it's just obviously not meant to be, but it's frustrating because Malaga was so instrumental in the
Mm,
growth that not only I saw in 2025, but how I personally leveled up in my own
yeah.
confidence and in my own leadership, and then how that trickled down in the team. And it's like it's a lot of pressure to put on an event, but I look back at it and I went in there with that attitude, and
Yeah.
that's what I'm going to talk about tonight. So I'm real excited for everyone that's going, but I have tailored my notes for those people that are unable to go because I know lots of people are unable to go for various reasons. But one of my goals is going to be to absolutely get there. I mean, I was fortunate last year. I think I overdid it. I overdid it because I had Malaga and then went to Farmer City again in June. And then September was Miami. So I think I just pushed my luck, really. So there you go. But yeah, I am planning on experiencing the full thing vicariously through everybody that's there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that is what I'm gonna do. So I've written a note of who's leaving and when, so that I know. And then I'm gonna because Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'm actually child free like during the day.
Oh,
It's just
really?
yeah, it's just the Saturday and like the evenings and school runs. Still gotta do school runs and nursery runs and stuff. So yes, it is very frustrating. Right, okay, it's half past, and this is already recording. Here we go. There's Vicky in there. So if anybody is watching this on the YouTube channel, although it's useless me saying it now, you might want to fast forward the first 5 minutes. I should have said that in the first when I first like came on, but never mind. I think we've got Vicky in the room. Let's see if you are there, Vicky. But I don't want to take up everyone's time because time is precious, and some of you are going to be out there needing to get yourselves packed. But I want to talk about getting in that right mindset before you get there and just having some expectations of what this convention weekend is going to do for you. And I'll keep reiterating this. This is not just for those that are attending, but also those that are not attending. Right, I've got my notes here because you all know me. I'm like a little squirrel. So the first side, I'm going to talk about leadership, convention, just some ideas of how to get into the right mindset to get the most out of convention, and just have some expectations that you can set there. And then the next thing I'm going to do is talk about just a little idea on your social media campaign and how you can frame it smartly. Is that a word? How you can cleverly utilize or align convention with your brand and with social media. This is a really, really powerful week. So whether you are going or not, you need to make sure that you're starting now, if not already, to talk about convention, your expectations around it, what are you going to anticipate? And I've got some framework of how you can do it. But whether you, like I said, whether you're going or not, it'd be really a missed opportunity to not mention it. The last thing you really want, and this is going to be the difference between those who are just here for maybe the community, they love the products, they're just having a little bit of a dabble. But if you're here on this call, you're here at leadership level, whether you've got a team or not, let's just tell it what it is. You are here watching this Zoom call, whether live or on the replay, because you are at leadership level or you are committed to extending your leadership skills. And you need to be making sure that it's not just a case of when you hear on Saturday, oh my God, we're launching in Germany in March or something like that. Or does anyone know anyone in Germany? And then you start like putting all these German flags everywhere and you're like, woo, woo, Germany, and blah, blah, blah. And you throw out all these statistics. Or there's a new product launch or a new product range. And then all you do is you just like, oh my God, like you haven't spoke about convention the entire time. Then all of a sudden you're banging on and it's like you're verbally vomiting all over your social media about these new products and things. So we don't want to do that. We want to be clever. Now, as much as those people that are attending, you're going to have loads of fun. You might even go and do drunken salsa classes, maybe or maybe not. I mean, I'm not going, so that may not happen. But you're going to get together with the rest of the team. You're going to celebrate. You're going to make memories, and it's going to be an integral part of your journey. But the reason why you're investing your money and you're investing your time is because you want to get something out of it that is going to help propel your business. So I'm going to talk to you about that because I think it's really important that you realize that this is such a massive pinnacle opportunity. It could be one of those defining moments that you look back upon your journey and you can say, when I went to that convention, when I went to Malaga, when I went to Madrid, this is what I took from it. If I hadn't been at that event or hadn't learned that or seen that from that person at that time, it would not have initiated, it wouldn't have been the catalyst for the change that I needed for me to grow and to step into that person that am now. So that's what this event is going to be. So you really need to be making sure you're preparing for it. So make sure you've got your knickknacks, make sure you've got your warm clothes, your workout clothes, all those things, your sunglasses, all of that. But just make sure that you have got a notepad and you're making notes and you have got that mental clarity of exactly what it is you are going there for, what you are extracting, and then know that when you get back, that the person you are going to be is completely different to that person you were before, mindset wise, how you look at your business, how you look at yourself, your self-image, how you look at yourself as a leader, the potential that you can see in yourself. All of that is going to change. Okay, right. So it's not just leadership, it's not just about who is in the room, it's about who feels the impact when you return. So I will be really grateful, please, for everybody to tell us because obviously I can't go as well. But this is true. It's not just about all those different people that's in the room. It's what you do with that. And as a leader, those are the sorts of things that you need to have in your mind prior to going. Is thinking, who am I going to become? What am I? What is the key message? What does my team need? Well, look at your organization and think, right, okay, what do I need to be extracting from that convention? Because you're going to be listening out and there's going to be key things that you think, oh, that rings a bell. But if that, something that resonates with you, but if you go there already in mind thinking, right, my team, my organization on the whole, they are struggling with this particular thing. This is a pain point. They don't know how to implement this. Maybe it's duplication, maybe it's aligning your lifestyle or your goals and your values with the business. Whatever it is, have that clarity of mind so that when you either look at the content on social media of what people are saying and giving feedback, or when you're there, what these speakers are saying, so that when they say a word, you're going to trigger, you'll be triggered. You're like, they're answering my question, and that is exactly what you want. That's what you came for, and those are the notes you're going to bring down. Me personally, as you can see by my notebook, I enjoy writing. I was always very good at English. I'm quite good with words, and when it comes to making notes, I cannot make notes. I write things down verbatim, and it's just something that I do. But then I've learned to go back through it and I'll pick a key thing, highlight it, and take it. If you're going to take notes, make sure that you're taking notes on the things that you want answers to, rather than just completely have a dictation of the entire thing that a speaker has just said. Okay, so some of us are going to be attending, some of us are not, but we are all responsible for how it impacts our teams. Anyone can go to convention. This is not an exclusive event where you've got to be a particular level. Anybody can go, anybody can invest the money, and I mean that in the most polite way ever. It's you don't have to have a special requirement. But to go to a convention and to simply just consume the content, feel that energy, and not do anything with it, that is going to be the difference between somebody who is not quite ready to step up into leadership and somebody who is a leader. That leader is going to stand out because when you go, yes, you're going to consume everything, but you're going to find a way of translating it to your team or to your business, both. But in order for you to do that, you need to have had that clarity of what it is that you're wanting to get before you go. So, those of you that are attending, or if I know some people like to record some of the speakers, and that's fantastic and always much appreciated. So, if anybody is watching that, or they are stalking people's stories and you just seeing the highlight reel, you can still think about these questions to ask yourself. Um, so who do I need to become? And think back to previous trainings that we've done, like quite recently. So where we've done exercises where you've thought about your own personal values and how that aligns with pharmacy. And you should have an idea, particularly if you're on my team. I've spoken to some of you on your one-to-ones about New Year's Eve 2026. I want to have a celebratory half an hour champagne call where we celebrate everybody's wins from 2026. So you're already thinking ahead. And often when we've done these trainings before and we don't talk about just looking at status and things like that and, oh, you're going to achieve this, you're going to achieve that. It's the person you are going to become. You are going to transform. It's impossible not to if you are going to increase your potential earnings, your potential for impact of how much of a legacy you're going to be leading behind. So think about who it is that you need to become. And what does your team need right now? And this is if you're unsure, you go back and you do your one-to-ones or you speak to them, you ask them. And a prompt might be to ask them if you were at convention or if you had the opportunity to ask one of the speakers, what would you ask them? And then this is going to help with what I mentioned before. So once you've got an idea of what it is your team need, you've got a question, right? Okay, so when I go to a convention, I need to be finding out an answer or a solution to this question so that when I go back, I know what it is I need to implement and what message is it that you want to be bringing back as well. And this is something that you can write down and make a note of. And then the time when you're there, you just keep referring back to it. So making sure that you're getting from that event what you need to. I have gone to in nearly 11 years in this industry. I've gone to lots of conventions, lots of different events. And like I said, I have taken notes and I can look back and think I can see the difference from when I was just a consumer of this. So I was there, I was taking it on board, and I was storing all these nuggets, all of this information, all this knowledge, and not necessarily implement it. And this is going to be the difference. If you are going there and you don't have a team or whatever it is, you, like I said, you're on this call and you're invested in this because you can see yourself and you want to be in that higher position of leadership. So this is where you need to be thinking, how can I translate the information that I'm getting, the inspiration that I'm hearing? You can't just go there and be like, woohoo, this is great energy. I'm motivated, I'm inspired. And then you get back and you're knackered from all the traveling and you do absolutely nothing. I mean, it's all right if you come back because you're knackered from you doing all the traveling. But the difference is going to be for leadership is when you've got all of that knowledge and all of that inspiration, motivation, and it has translated into that calm confidence, that clarity of vision, that it further solidifies the why you're here, why you joined pharmacy, what you wanted from it. It's the moment where you can be like, yeah, I am treating this business as a business. I have made a business investment. Another thing I will mention as well, because I like to go off topic, is especially when you mention on your social media that you're going to Madrid or you're going to Miami and you're doing this, from the outside looking in, some people may perceive it as you're going on holiday. You're going on a girly holiday. I can't see who that person. I've just seen a question there. Sorry, where are you referring to going? You missed the first few minutes. It's convention week, so I'm referring to Madrid, but this is recorded. Um, yeah, so you're not going on holiday. When you talk about this trip, it is a business trip. It is an investment in your leadership, your growth. You go in there to absorb as much information as possible that you can then translate into your team, which is going to give them growth, sustainability, and along that momentum. Energy alone isn't going to cut it. The fact that we are a company that are in momentum, that's great. That you mean you could ride it, you could ride that wave, but when that wave dips, you want to make sure that you are able to continue that momentum. That's the difference between someone who is just going to an event to consume it and someone who's going as a leader. So you are going to hear you're going to hear some really inspirational speakers and telling their stories. And one thing that I really going to miss because I'm not going is seeing. I know there are men there. There's the men that are in the Millionaires Club, and it's fantastic, and that's great. Whoop-de-doo for them. But I have been in like the corporate world previously, and you see it all the time. It's like, okay, then I love seeing. And Gary, if you're watching this, please, okay, apologies. However, globally, women are paid 20% less than men. So in the network marketing space, when I see a woman on stage, she is out there paving a way for so many other women. She's making a stand. She's showing up for the network marketing industry. She's showing up for pharmacy. She's showing up for daughters, women, and empowering them and saying, look, here, this is my story. If I can get up here and do this, you can do too. And I bet you one of those speakers is going to say, oh, back when I first started, I was just like you, sat in the back watching. Because they always say it, and they always say it for a reason. Because there's no reason why you can't be sat there looking up, listening, making millions of notes, and in your head you're inspired and you're motivated and you're thinking, yes, 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 I can do that. But this is why what I want to talk about tonight is just so important because you've got to really make sure that when you're hearing those inspiring stories, that you take the message from them, that you find the wisdom in it, and you solidify that alignment that you have got in your brand that we've spoke about the last few weeks with pharmacy. It's really important that you're getting that from it. Now, if you can't go to Madrid, then you need to find a way to utilize this time to get as much from it as possible. I mean, there's a reason why you need to go to these events because this is the sort of information that you're going to get. This is the sort of emotive engagement that you are going to get that you can translate for your own personal growth, which you can then pass on to other people. And it's not enough to get it vicariously. I know I'm not going, and I know that there's going to be some element where I am not getting as much growth in myself and my business as I would have had I actually gone there and experienced it firsthand myself. Um, but don't you worry your pretty little heads about it because I've got a plan. I am going to soak up as much as possible. I may get some sangria, I may get some paella. Hema says she's going to have a hot tub and get in it with a bikini. I don't have a hot tub, so I might get my bath and put some bubbles in it and get in my bikini. That's all the joking bit aside. But I am going to make sure that I double down and do more business during those more income producing activities, more opportunity messages than I would normally do. In fact, more than what you go in, those people that are going to Madrid, you're there to learn. You're not going to have the capabilities, perhaps, of actually sending out loads of messages. Well, you will do, of course, you have when you have your downtime, but not as much. I am on a mission to make sure that I don't miss out because I know that going to events is so fundamental for your growth, especially in leadership. Okay, if you don't change your behavior, then the event didn't land. So I would have a little, again, whether you're going or not, just have a think about your behaviors that you've got now, the routines that you've got now. Take as much as you possibly can do from this weekend. If you're not going, tap into the previous corporate trainings that we've got. Stormy's training that she did before, we've still got that replay available. Go and watch that. That was absolutely phenomenal. That had actual tears falling out of one eyeball. That's like, if I'm crying, it could, if proper crying, 'cause I'm sad, it comes out of both eyes. But if it's something that just like really gets you going and connects with you and you're listening, it's like one eye is reading like the words and one eye is connecting and the other eye is crying because it's just that emotional, like it's like pang, it hit a nerve. It's amazing. Like lock into doing some training, whatever the reasons why you couldn't go, try and find a time to do that. And then afterwards, you need to be thinking to yourself, okay, right, on the back of what I have learned this weekend, what behaviors am I going to implement? Because if you don't implement any behaviors, particularly if you actually went to the event, then the event didn't land. It was a failure. Either that or you turned up as a consumer as opposed to a leader because you've invested your time, you've invested your money. So I want to make sure that you come back and you're not just like, woohoo, I have just had an amazing jolly in Spain. I want to hear what you're doing with your business, what light bulb moments you had, all of that. I want you to come back with that feeling of certainty that you can see that pharmacy is absolutely the right company for you to achieve the goals that you set earlier on in the year and that I told you then to double because they weren't big enough. That you feel aligned, that you've got synchronicity, like you've got all those goosebumps. That's what I want you to come back with, that calm confidence. Like, yeah, during the event, you're going to have that energy, but you're going to come back. You're going to have a kip. You're going to be tired. Let's face it, but we have got the best energy products ever to do what you need to do, double up on them. But you don't, it's not about being like, oh my God, yes, I've got back and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. It's that calm confidence where you're like, right, okay, so my behavior, my actions, it compounds. This is what I need to be doing on a daily business. This is what I need to let go of. That's what I was doing before, and that was holding me back. And I am not doing that anymore. I have learned something. These are the three things that I've learned. This is what I'm deciding to do. This is what I'm going with. And these are how it's going to look in my behaviors for how I show up for my business, for myself, and for my team. And this is what I'm going to be doing. And it's that calm confidence. It's when you know what you need to do, when that light bulb like pings and you're like, yeah, I get it. I'm absolutely right. And you can actually visualize you, New Year's Eve 2026, and we're having this Zoom call, and there's loads of us on it. You can physically see yourself there, and you know exactly what you have celebrated. You know what you're celebrating. You know what it is you've achieved. You can feel yourself there. That's what I want. So you've got that clarity, you've got that calmness of it, and that's going to give you that clear leadership because once you've got that visualization in your head, the conversations that you have, they're going to be elevated. You're not going to be desperate. You're not going to be, like, oh, do me a favor. I need 10 people to join me. That sort of thing. Everything's going to flip. Everything is going to change for you. Okay. Just a few prompts for you so that you can, so that you know what you're going to be answering. What this event reminded me about our potential. So again, when I mentioned about the alignment, what did it make you, what was it that came home? So you're going to see the Millionaires Club. You might even have a vision now where you're thinking, in 5 years' time, when I've done this, this, and that, and I get to Diamond, I'm going to be earning X amount of money. I'll be earning 20, 30, 40 grand a month. And then you're going to hear speakers that are beyond Diamond, that are beyond the compensation plan. Remember, you could be earning £2,000 a month and you could be a manager. You could be a director earning 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 pounds. It doesn't have to go hand in hand with how many leaders you've got and how many title points or anything like that. So you're gonna hear some different potential, and not just about your money and the finances, but the impact you're gonna have on other people. And that is ultimately when you hear those leaders that started, and then maybe they was there as a pharmacy influencer, and then they went to an event and they had 10 people in their team, and then they've stood up there and they've had 1,000 people and 2,000, 4,000 pounds a month, and the impact it's had on their families. That's when you're going to be overstretched with your potential. That's when you're going to have those moments where you think, yeah, right, and it's that is what you can't bottle up. That is what you go into these events for. That is why you're getting into a room with a market that is 5 years old, 7 years old, if there's anyone from the US, or older from like Turkey and that. That's what you're gonna get. You're in a room where you've got people who are already succeeding where you want to succeed. So even within our community, Hema will tell you she's nowhere near hit her potential. She's had her setbacks, and she's given us a hell of a lot. Like we've got a lot. This community has done really, really well. But even she knows that she goes into a room, went to Miami, and she's like, wow. Wow, I am a small fish in a big pond. There was no ego there. It was like a very, very humbling convention when you go there and you're like, okay, then we are literally just scratching the surface here. There is so much more. And the amazing thing about pharmacy is you will hear how there are top earners, top leaders that are like way at the top of the comp plan. And again, they haven't even scratched the surface of what they're capable of doing. That is what you're going to get from it. So you need to make a note of that. What this event reminded me about our potential, not just your potential, your personal potential, but your potential as a leader in your team. One thing new that you realized about leadership, because this is that, you're there, you're going to be learning about leadership, and a decision I made after the event that impacted me and the team. So those are just a couple of prompts that you could ask yourself. Right, now let's get to the pretty part of it. But we're not going to be really pretty, are we? Because we don't want to get stuck in pretty prison. We're talking about the social media campaign. And this is something that you can start now, and you absolutely ought to have already started. Personally, I've got memories popping up from going to Malaga. So I have been naturally sharing those pictures. I might just have to pretend I'm there. But I'm not. No, I'm kidding. So you start this now and you've got up until Friday. So the theme of it is going to be anticipation, creating curiosity, alignment, belief, all those things that I've just mentioned. But whether you are going or not, you can still share these things. Even if you're not going, you should still be excited about a European convention. Like last year, pharmacy held 4 conventions globally. That's incredible. There's going to be like 10,000 people there. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy for a European one. Like pharmacy have only been in the UK for 2 years. I think there was only in Spain for like 5 or 6 years, and it's absolutely phenomenal, the growth. So to have 10,000 people there at a company convention to invest in that training and to do all that traveling, and we know from our own community and from the UK community as a whole, that is only a small percentage of the pool of pharmacy influencers altogether. It's just absolutely phenomenal. So make sure that you are creating that curiosity and sharing that excitement. Everybody on your Facebook needs to know that what's going on this weekend? Well, Billy's got a game of rugby this weekend, but it's also a Pharmacy European Convention. Who are Pharmacy? I don't know, but I just keep seeing it on my Facebook. That sort of thing. They need to know that this is going on. But in terms of leadership, because we're going to be smart, we need to make sure that our content goes through that filter, making sure that it aligns with our brand and our message that we're wanting to put out. So something like things that changed when I began treating this business as a business. So those are like themes of reels that you could be putting out there now. Chrissy, Now, Vicky, you going? You are out here. Anyone else that is going? Yeah. Anybody else that is going? I want you to really think about this. Things that changed when I began treating this business as a business. You are not going on a holiday. This is a tax deductible. This is an expense that is going to go on your tax form. Okay? You're not going on holiday. I don't want to hear anyone. I don't want to see anyone write that word, holiday. If you go in there for a holiday, if I was going on a holiday, I wouldn't be going in a room with a big arena with 10,000 people. That is not my idea of a holiday. This is a business trip. This is an investment. Look at the language that you're using. Okay, so I really want you to think about that. And even if it's like, if it's scary, even if you've got a negative emotion, when you realize, oh my God, I'm going all in, this is my business. This is no longer a hobby for me. This is no longer something where I'm just learning about it. I'm not toe in. Like I am all the way in, 100% in. And you need to be real and raw because that's how it's relatable. If you're feeling scared at the fact that you have been playing it small because you thought that having a goal of £2,000 a month was sufficient to marry up the action it needs to earn £2,000 a month. And then you go and you hear the story of the pizza delivery boy that 2 years ago, after 2 years of in his business, is now a millionaire. Like it's absolutely mind blowing. You are going to realize that you have been shrinking yourself, and that is no good. And what you thought how you was treating it as a business is no longer how you're treating it. So maybe that's scary. Whatever it is, hone in on it. And especially if you are going, this is what you need to be writing about because this is your book. When you get to that level where you're like, I'm going to write a book now. I mean, not everybody does. I would like to. But if you're ever going to be like, yes, I'm going to write a book. But I'll tell you what, you're going to have a playbook because when you've got your big team, you're going to have these systems that you've made and they're going to duplicate. And these are your stories. You are creating your story now. So later on this year, when you go live and you talk about a pinnacle moment in your business where it all changed, another one is going to be this event. So you need to have the before. Now let's move on to the during. Again, you can do this whether you're a spectator or you're attending. Now is the time for energy. So you want to increase your visibility. No need to overshare. And I've done this before where you just bombard people with information. You just like, boom, you're just vomiting all over, word vomiting, loads of pictures everywhere, and it's incoherent. So you need to be smart with this. So I would choose those moments, those behind the scenes moments where you're like, oh, I'm a little bit overwhelmed here. This is scary. I own it. Earn it. If you are feeling, oh God, this is like, have I bitten too much? Have I done like when you have that self-doubt, if you get there and you're telling everyone then you're like, oh yeah, this is real good, woo, and then quietly when they're talking like, oh my God, I'm so scared. Can I do this? Can I be that person on the stage? Maybe not right now, but maybe in 5 years or 10 years, you can be absolutely on that stage telling your story. And you have to have a word with yourself. And you're going to take people on that journey because otherwise, if you lie and you're like, oh, yeah, look, that's going to be me one day. I can't wait. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I really feel it. I'm feeling confident and that. People are going to see through it because if you don't believe it, they're going to see it. But it's okay to say that you're not at that level because, again, when you're having conversations with people about this business, you can be honest and be like, do you know what? That is one of my goals that I would absolutely love to get to that level, but I'm not here yet. And I know what she looks like, but it's a process. I'm becoming her. And it's in that journey where, and then you can share the emotional side of it. And that is inspiring. That's what people want to hear. That's what people want to hear. It's like when you see somebody now who's got a massive following, who's got all the success, who talks about things, talks about growth, they have become the authority on what it is that they are doing. Sometimes you don't appreciate, especially if you've only just seen them for the first time, you don't appreciate the struggle. It's just those that you've taken on that journey. If you haven't taken them on that journey, it just looks like they've just born into it. And we know that most people, that's not how it happens. You don't just wake up and all of a sudden it's a massive success. Your business is a huge success. It's all those struggles and challenges. So you've got to share all those things. So yeah, take people on the journey with you. Be real, raw, and share realizations, emotions, how you see yourself, your self-image. Katie said it the other day, and it stuck with me. Your income will never surpass your self-image. It's not about how you look, your clothes you're wearing. It's your self-image, how you feel about yourself, how you hold yourself, how you treat yourself. Do you, and you can go into like the habits of this person. Like, do you just gorge on junk food and then punish yourself? Or do you work out loads because you're punishing yourself because you gorge on loads of food? That relationship you have with yourself. Are you full of self-doubt, self-loathing? Do you have low self-esteem? Do you drink too much alcohol because that's how you cope with like when life gets tough? All these little things, like no judging of anything, but you need to be thinking about how you see yourself and that self-image that you have for yourself. And this isn't just for business. This is just like how you show up in life, how you show up for relationships, how you treat yourself is going to be set standard of how other people treat you, friends, family members, complete strangers, if you're looking for a new relationship, all those sorts of things. So these are all things that you're going to get from events like this. This is why we get into those rooms where you're surrounded by men and women who are exceeding where you want to, where they're excelling, where they're just exceeding expectations. They're raising the bar. They're like setting these huge, crazy standards, but they're showing that an ordinary person can do it. And so you need to be thinking about the fact that there's going to be a transition. There's going to be a you before. There's going to be the actual event, and then there's going to be a you after. And just sit with that thought for a minute. And that in itself should be pretty scary because you've got to think, what am I letting go? Am I ready to let go of that? Not saying that that's people, but habits or just all whatever it is, like there's a whole host of different things. There could be a friendship circle that you've got. There could be a certain person that is always in your ear saying like negative things, and you allow them to do that. It's you got to be thinking that there's going to be a you before and a you after. There's going to be things that you let go of, and then there's going to be things that you welcome in. But the emphasis is on the word you, because you're the one that's going to make those decisions. You're the one that's made this investment. You're the one taking yourself there. You're the one that's going to hold yourself accountable. I'm going to have conversations with you. Kate's going to have conversations with you, but we don't tell you what to do. It is all on you, which is scary in itself, but it's also really, really self-empowering. And then you've got the after part of it. So this is where most people are going to drop the ball, but you're not most people because you're leaders. They fall back into old habits, old disciplines, thought processes. Leaders are the ones that stand out because, like I said, they are going to this event, this investment already geared up. They're already 10 steps ahead than most people that are going to this event that are just going to go there to consume. They're just going to be just following it along unintentionally. But you guys, as leaders, you are going in there, and it's a calm confidence. You're not going in there like a bull in a china shop. You're going in there with a cool, calm confidence, with clarity. You are clear. You know what it is you're wanting to get. Thank you, Charmaine. Good night. You know exactly what it is you want to get from that event. You know what you need. You know what message it is that you want to take back for your team. So that is going to be the difference. So afterwards, you're going to be thinking 3 decisions that you made at convention or after whilst you're watching the events. What are those 3 decisions? Okay, so it could be the decision to let go of something. It could be the decision to introduce something. Whatever it is, you're going to have some sort of defining inspirational moment where you're going to be like, right, I need to make this decision now. Make a note of that. Okay, I'll answer your question in a second. 1 second. Samsung, I can't see your name, sorry. Is this relatable to you? Is you not going? Yeah, 100%. So as I've been saying intermittently throughout however long I've been on here, this is very important for those attending and those not attending. If you don't know that you've got a European convention this weekend, then you need to go and have a look at your website, speak to your upline, get all that information. You need to be running a campaign talking about convention, the before, the anticipation of it, what you're going to talk about during it, like the product launches, that's going to show up on social media. And then afterwards, so like a teaching moment as well. One thing every leader must understand about growth. And again, just because you're not going, it doesn't mean that you can't get all this information. Like I've made these notes because I've experienced a convention, I've missed events before, and I know that this is absolutely crucial to your growth, particularly it being in January, the first month of 2026. It's like they've done that for a reason. It's going to help propel you and give you that momentum within your organization for 2026, whether you are going or not. If you are not going, then hopefully you know somebody who is going. If you don't, Chrissy, Vicky Ford, Jenny Charsley, I know that they are in attendance, so go and follow them. You've got any of your other leaders or any people that you know that are going. All you have to do is type in on Facebook, Pharmacy Horizonte, Pharmacy Madrid, and you're gonna get a lot of posts that are going to come up and just find people, particularly if they're in this community, and follow them, look at their stories because this is what they are going to do when they show up. Before, they are going to be talking about the anticipation, creating curiosity. They're going to be talking about their expectations. During, it's going to be high energy. There's going to be product announcements, new systems, all those sorts of things. So, and you can get that vicariously by following the different people that are going and looking at the information that they share. And then afterwards, this is the part where there's some of it's not going to be entirely relatable, but maybe it is because maybe one of your decisions is to set a goal to make sure that you can go to the next one in January 2027, wherever that may be. Like make that one of your goals to get to a convention. Or maybe if you really fancy going to Miami, going to the US convention in September. So yeah, I think this is absolutely relevant, regardless whether you're going or not. Tell stories as well. I'll make sure that I'm using this opportunity to tell stories, even though I won't be there. I'll be on the sidelines. I may borrow Chris's stories. I may borrow Vicky's or Jenny's. If somebody shares something and they've had like a powerful moment where, or a moment of realization, whether it's before or during or after, I will share that story because it's your stories that are going to attract people that want to have that transformation, or who want to be a part of this community. There's going to be lots of fun aspects on there, but as leaders, we're going to be having a twist on it to make sure that we're relating it to our growth as leaders and how that's going to translate with our team. But again, I've mentioned this already, and I'm going to mention it now again, because whether you're going or not, we are part of a community which is predominantly dominated by women. And that is at personally, that aligns really well with my brand, not just because I am a woman. It's just something that I find anytime, whether it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, the way things are now, probably 50 years in the future, it's going to be a pinnacle point. There's no other industry in the globe where you have as many female millionaires. The network marketing industry produces more female millionaires than any other industry. So when you see that arena of 10,000 people, whether you're seeing photos of it or whether you're there in person, that is something that should really inspire you or at least show you what is possible. And I mentioned before about realizing your potential. What is this event reminded me about our potential? So relate that to even your personal potential. Seeing those speakers up there, seeing those people walking the stage and getting the big checks and they're celebrating. There's going to be loads of photos like that. And I'll be using them. I think I used Charlene's last year because they're just inspirational. Like you can't help it. You have a look and you look for the who's got the biggest one, and you see a picture, and then you're like, I want to know that person's story. I want to know what they did. I want to know how they did it, and I'm going to go and do the same thing. I'm going to make three decisions on what I'm going to do based on that inspiring story, and I feel aligned. I could be that person. Okay, right. So, are there any questions? Because I am going to call it a night. Let me just have a look through the comments. Yeah, Charmaine, oh, you've gone, but yeah, I'm gutted I can't go. But you know what? You guys that are going, you are going to have the most incredible time. Exactly what my hubby and kids think. I'm guessing that's Jill. I don't know if that's you, Jill, if you're there or if you've gone. Um, but yeah, it's Look at the language you use. Don't call it a holiday. You will get people that are around you. I had it before, even like in Miami, Malaga, and I would share all the businessy aspects of it. And there's still some people that are going to say bikini, palm trees, holiday. They're going to say that. But this is why, as leaders, we want to be changing that conversation because you're going to be becoming the authority. Like when I said, like New Year's Eve 2026, when you think about your goals, by that point, you want to be the authority of what your brand is and what your message is. So, if anybody out there on your social media wants to know how a woman who is in her late 30s, 40s, who's frustrated, who's wanting to break away from the norm, have something for herself before her kids all leave home, they realize that they want a bit of everything. They want some adventure, but they don't want to wait till pension age to get the adventure. They want that now. They're told, no, you can't have a career and have a family. All those different traditional paths that we were told to take. You're not being assertive. You're being bossy. You're a bitch. All of those sorts of things. This is where this business model completely breaks us out of that mold. And I have gone massively off on a tangent here. But yeah, New Year's Eve 2026, that is when you want to be thinking about that celebration that we have and just utilizing this event for it. Yeah, I did go off on a tangent there. I saw a comment and like, woo, completely squirreled. Yeah, Anita, don't worry about it. Chrissy, right, translate those goosebumps. Get them translated. Right, has anybody got anything that they want to mention? Any questions? Let me see. Definitely going to start sharing. Yeah, do it. Oh, yeah. Jill, it was you. I knew it was you. It's work. It is work, but again, it's if you worked in a shop, I worked in retail sales for like 13 years. I never went on a business trip abroad, even working there. I think there's very limited amounts of fields where you would get to go on an actual business trip. I know you could win prizes if you like you sold a Samsung and Girls Aloud were promoting it and you got like to go different places like that. But I was like an incentive. That wasn't like a business trip. I think if you were a man in this industry and you said you was going on a business trip, it's like, oh yeah, it's going on a business trip. It's doing business and it's doing man things, and that's what men do. But as a woman, we do things differently. We know we especially we're not into like that whole hustle culture and that masculinity. It's soft, it's feminine, it's confident, it's calm, it's got grace, it's got style, we're classy, and we just have a different, softer approach. We have balance. We deal with things better. We're not stressed. We don't have these veins popping out the side of our head. We're like, yeah, I'm going on a business trip, but it's up to us to change the way that other people perceive it, just by not using that language and calling it a holiday. So when you're packing your bag, make sure the last thing you're putting in there are your pens, but put them in a polythene bag in case they explode. You don't want them leaking on your clothes. Get your notebooks in there. Get your self-development books. When you're on the plane and people are saying to you, oh, where are you going? I'm going to a company convention. What book have you got there that you're reading? Is it a holiday book? Is it a fiction? Is it a love story you're reading on the plane? Or is it John Maxwell? Have you downloaded John Maxwell's 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership? It's amazing. It's taken me about 8 months to listen to it. But honestly, it is a really, really good book. It's like all those little things, that's going to change it up. Taking your laptop, actually getting some work done, journaling, all of those different things. But yeah, right, I am going to get going now because I can see I have no idea what time it is, but yeah, 45 minutes. That's fine. It wasn't quite an hour, so that's good. Right, I'm gonna get going, but have the most amazing time. I will probably speak to you all at some point later on today, definitely tomorrow and the day after and the day after that. And I can't wait to see everything. And I can't wait to see how you take on board what I have just talked to you about and how that translates in the message you put across on social media. I'm looking forward to that. Right. Thank you so much, everybody. Speak to you all soon. Bye.